Terminator 2 Judgment Day, A Few Good Men, Menace to Society, Pulp Fiction, Seven, Scream, Titanic, There's Something About Mary, The Matrix, Gladiator, Lord of the Rings 1, Lord of the Rings 2, Lord of the Rings 3, Napoleon Dynamite, Wedding Crashers, Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Transformers, Twilight Part 1, Twilight Part 2, Twilight Part 3, Twilight Part 4, The Avengers, The Hunger Games Catching Fire, The Fault in Our Stars. Every single winner of Best Movie at the MTV Movie Awards from the beginning. I'm damn proud of myself. So a little while ago, Gray1951 posted a video in which he recited from memory every single Best Picture winner at the Oscars from the very first one, which is something that I could never do. It'd be like memorizing the state capitals or something like that, because so many of those movies I haven't seen and really don't mean anything to me. However, when I started paying attention to the Oscars in around 1986, I began collecting information in my head about that. I mean, you read about a certain group of movies, they're always going to be associated with each other, and the more you read about them and hear about them as possible Best Picture contenders or what have you, the more they stay sort of stuck in your head. And so without even really trying, I've managed to memorize quite a few Oscar winners over the years, from the point that I started paying attention. I don't have them all memorized, of course, but I can probably recite all the Best Pictures from the 80s. You start off with Ordinary People, and then it's the one about the runners, Chariots of Fire, Gandhi, beat E.T., Tender Mercies, I think is 83, Amadeus, Out of Africa. But in 86, that's when my knowledge of Oscars really kicks in. I don't know all the people that won Best Actor, Best Actress, etc. But I can tell you everyone who won Best Picture, Best Director, and, oddly enough, Best Visual Effects. Actually, it's not that odd when you think about it, because back then when I was 13, the nominees for visual effects were the movies I was most interested in. Not any of the Best Picture nominees. I didn't care about any of those. I hadn't seen them, couldn't care. But the Best Visual Effects nominees, those are all movies that I knew about. Those are all movies that I had seen and were interested in. So that is what I've retained. And if you'd be amused by such a thing, I'm going to try and recite all three of those winners from each year from 1986 forward. Okay, so Platoon. 1986, Best Picture. Best Director went to Oliver Stone for that film. Best Visual Effects went to the James Cameron movie Aliens. The following year, 87, The Last Emperor took home Best Picture and Best Director for Bernardo Bertolucci. Best Visual Effects went to Inner Space, the Joe Dante comedy, which Trey Passer recently reviewed. Cool. 88, Rain Man, Best Picture. Best Director for Barry Levinson. And Best Visual Effects went to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The following year, 89, Driving Miss Daisy wins Best Picture, but Best Director goes again to Oliver Stone for Born on the 4th of July. And The Abyss wins Best Visual Effects, another James Cameron film. 1990, Dances with Wolves takes home Best Picture and Best Director for Kevin Costner. Best Visual Effects goes to Total Recall. In fact, there weren't even any other nominees that year, because apparently the Academy was so impressed by Total Recall that they decided to just give it to that movie. I bet they're kicking themselves, because they should have done that the following year when Terminator 2 won Best Visual Effects over Backdraft and Hook. It was so clearly superior to the other movies. Oh, Best Picture, by the way, that year went to Silence of the Lambs, as did Best Director to Jonathan Demme. 1992, Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood, Best Director, and Best Visual Effects went to the Robert Zemeckis comedy Death Becomes Her. 1993, all Spielberg, all the time. Schindler's List, Best Picture, Schindler's List, Best Director, Jurassic Park, Best Visual Effects. 1994, Triple Whammy. One movie won all three awards. Forrest Gump, Best Picture, Best Director, Robert Zemeckis, Best Visual Effects. 1995, Braveheart wins Best Picture, Mel Gibson wins Best Director, Best Visual Effects goes to Babe, the talking pig movie. They animated the mouths of the pigs and the other animals, and that's what won Best Visual Effects. Fun movie. Really good. 96, The English Patient wins Best Picture, Anthony Minghella wins Best Director, Best Visual Effects goes to Independence Day. 1997, another triple whammy. James Cameron and Titanic take home Best Picture, Best Director, Best Visual Effects, of course. 98, Saving Private Ryan wins Steven Spielberg his second Best Director Oscar, but not Best Picture. It goes to Shakespeare in Love instead, and Best Visual Effects goes to the Robin Williams afterlife fantasy, What Dreams May Come. 1999, Best Picture, The Matrix. Just kidding. Best Visual Effects. Best Picture went to American Beauty and Sam Mendes for his very first film. 2000, Gladiator wins Best Picture and Best Visual Effects. However, Best Director goes to Steven Soderbergh for Traffic. Woohoo! Yeah. Beautiful Mind wins Best Picture the following year, and Ron Howard wins Best Director for that film. Best Visual Effects, Lord of the Rings Part 1. The Fellowship of the Ring. The following year, Chicago wins Best Picture. Roman Polanski wins Best Director for The Pianist. Best Visual Effects, Lord of the Rings again, The Two Towers, 1-2. Of course, in 2003, another triple whammy. In fact, far more than that, because Return of the King won every single Oscar it was nominated for, including Best Director Peter Jackson. Best Picture, Best Visual Effects, of course. 2004. Is that right? Yes. So, yeah, $1 Million Baby, right. Clint Eastwood again. Clint Eastwood again wins Best Director. $1 Million Baby wins Best Picture. Best Visual Effects goes to Spider-Man 2. 2005, Crash wins Best Picture. Brokeback Mountain wins Best Director for Ang Lee. Ang Lee wins for Brokeback Mountain, whichever. And once again, Peter Jackson takes home Best Visual Effects, or at least the film that he made. King Kong. Right. And the following year was 2006. The Departed wins Martin Scorsese, Best Director and Best Picture. And Best Visual Effects, oh yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean. Part 2, Dead Man's Chest, for those performance captured Davy Jones creature guys. Pretty cool. Well-deserved Oscar for that movie. 2007, Best Visual Effects goes to The Golden Compass, which was unusual because that movie was a huge bomb. The Coen brothers win Best Director and Best Picture, of course, for No Country for Old Men. 2008, Danny Boyle wins Best Director for Slumdog Millionaire. It also wins Best Picture. Best Visual Effects goes to the David Fincher film The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. 2009, The Hurt Locker wins Best Picture. Catherine Bigelow wins Best Director. And its principal competition for both of those awards wins Best Visual Effects. That would, of course, be Avatar. 2010. Toy Story 3 nominated for Best Picture. Inception nominated for Best Picture. The Social Network nominated for Best Picture. But they all lose to The King's Speech. Tom Hooper wins Best Director that year for The King's Speech. However, Inception does not go home empty-handed. It wins Best Visual Effects. 2011, The Artist, the black and white silent film, wins Best Picture. The director, Michel Havanikis, I believe that's how you say his name, wins Best Director. Best Visual Effects goes to the Martin Scorsese film Hugo. 2012, Argo wins Best Picture. Ang Lee wins Best Director again for a movie that doesn't win Best Picture, Life of Pi. Life of Pi also wins Best Visual Effects. 2013, 12 Years a Slave wins Best Picture. Best Director and Best Visual Effects goes to Gravity. Alfonso Cuarón is the director. The following year, Birdman wins Best Picture. Alejandro Inarritu wins Best Director, and Best Visual Effects goes to Interstellar, Christopher Nolan. And now we're all caught up. So I guess we'll see about this year. I hope you're amused by this. Oh, one more thing. The Movie Reviewers 100, the collab channel I've been a part of since 2011. We have been dormant for a while, but we're gearing back up. I have posted a video a couple weeks ago. Going to post another review on the channel this Thursday, and we are going to attempt a live stream chat, Google Hangout, on the channel this Saturday. Saturday afternoon-ish. We'll update you on that time. The link below is to our Facebook page and, of course, to the YouTube channel. If you want to join us for that, that would be great. Hopefully we'll get a few people involved. See you then.